And remember, you have 5 opportunities for muscle protein synthesis to occur in a day. So all you guys doing your intermittent fasting bullshit, well, you ain't gonna build as much muscle as if you spread out those meals and have a complete protein in each one of those 5 meals. Now, what is up, guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be reacting to a video from Dr. Mike Israetel. All protein is not created equal. And you're probably like, what the hell are you talking about? A gram of protein is a gram of protein, but sorry about that. Protein is made up of different amino acids, and there are 9 essential amino acids that your body needs in order to build muscle. There are more amino acids, but through these 9 your body can create the other ones, so you need these 9, and not all proteins have enough of these 9 essential amino acids or have all 9 in the first place. So for example, things like bread and rice and stuff, they don't have the same amino acid profile as things like eggs, chicken, whey protein, stuff like that. So we're going to be reacting to his video, and I'm going to be giving you my thoughts.
Aim for roughly a gram per pound per day of protein. Again, if you weigh 150 pounds, 150 grams, and with less or more depending on some circumstances.
Yeah, so personally, I like the 1 gram per protein per pound of body weight. I think it just simplifies everything for the average person. Now, some research shows that that's actually probably a little bit more than you actually need, and you could probably get away with like 0.8 to 1 gram, something like that. But I think just for the general population, for everyone to understand, 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight, there's no negative side effects really for doing that. The research is very conclusive. The only people that have to be really worried about their protein intake is people who already have kidney disease, but really high protein diets, even like 1.5 grams per pound and shit like that, does not cause kidney disease. So the research is very strong on that, but if you do have kidney disease, then you got to be careful. But for everyone who doesn't, you can pretty much have as much protein as you want.
Protein is composed of amino acids. And amino acids are the building blocks of protein. And when your body builds proteins, it doesn't do it from whole proteins that you eat. It breaks those down into amino acids. And then when it builds your own proteins, it needs a decent amount of each amino acid in order to build something. Let's give an example. If you have a house and you take it apart and you keep all the copper wiring, you keep all the glass, you keep the steel, you keep the microcircuitry, you keep the wood, and you take it apart in such a meticulous way that you have everything roughly like as it's supposed to be, almost clean and untouched. What can you make from that house? If I told you that you have to make another house or something like it, you kind of have all the components. But if I told you you have to make like a server farm, like a very small room that is able to house like computer servers, you'd be like, okay, well, we just don't have enough electric wiring because like a house typically isn't wired like a server room. So we're missing a component. Even though we have the same amount of house stuff, we don't have enough of the specific components we need. And honestly, we have like way too much wood. And so for protein quality, if you have a similar distribution of amino acids that the human body makes its stuff out of, which isn't super complex or exotic, it's really straightforward, you're good to go. Then you can take the protein that has those, break them down into individual amino acids, and feed those amino acids into all the body processes that build proteins from there.
Yeah, so that's a great analogy. So again, like I was saying before, not all proteins are created equal, and I really like that he has that house analogy. It makes it real simple. All the different parts that you build the house or whatever are the different amino acids. You need the wood and all this stuff, but if you have the wood but then you don't have the nails, you can't build the house. You need all the components, which in this case are the 9 essential amino acids, in order to build muscle. And different protein sources have different amounts of these amino acids, and that's how they get their grading on the score sheet or whatever it's called.
Collagen protein, so they have roughly the same score, has a score of 0.08. So like if we did percentages, 0 was the worst, 100 was the best, it has an 8%. So, like when something has collagen protein in it, and it's the majority of the protein is collagen, it is one of the lowest quality protein source.
Yeah, collagen protein is really dog shit. It is unfortunate. I know there's a protein bar, like the Built Puff bars. Those are primarily, composed of collagen protein, which has a really, really 0.08 is a really freaking low score. I mean, literally, like rice and shit has like point 0.4 or whatever. So, oh god, yeah, it kind of sucks. Like I feel like if you're gonna have one of those built bars, you gotta have some other kind of protein, like I don't know, cottage cheese, Greek yogurt alongside with it or something like that, because the score is just dog shit. Yeah, and you can see on his list here many of the really low scoring protein sources are plant-based, plants and stuff like that. They just don't have the amino acid profile of like meats, fish, chicken, yogurt, all that kind of stuff. And something I would also like for all you nutritionists out here is to gaze your eyes at the score of peanut butter, point 0.7. That's not very good. I don't know, if you go to school and you get a 70, that's like a C. That's not great. So for all you nutritionists who are like, yeah, you have your peanut butter and apple slices because it's a great protein source, no. Peanut butter is a fat source. Stop thinking, oh my god, peanut butter, it's such good protein, this and that. And it doesn't even have that much protein in it. For every like 9 grams of fat, there's only like 4 grams of protein. And the quality of that protein is dog shit. So don't. Peanut butter, not a protein source, it is a fat source.
A very rare complete plant protein is quinoa. And quinoa, which I used to think was Kiona, and I just assumed that was a black woman's name. Is that cool to say? It's a 0.92 or 92%, which is really, really good. So quinoa, as they say colloquially.
Something I didn't even know, quinoa, turns out it's actually got a pretty good score, 0.92. If you go to school or whatever, that's a freaking A plus there. So news to me, they're one of the very few plant proteins that are complete. Now I will say quinoa doesn't have, you're getting a lot of carbs in there as well, so I view it more as like a carb source. I wouldn't just have quinoa as your only protein source, because if you do, you're gonna have to eat a lot of it, which is gonna get a lot of calories to get the grams of protein in. But it's nice to see that it is actually a complete protein. And then on the list, you got all the ones we know are good: beef, chicken, meats, eggs. And Mike actually talks about in the video how this whole score was based on eggs, and whey protein isolate is even better than eggs, 1.04. Yeah, eggs were actually, I didn't even know this before watching his video, but eggs are what actually started this whole, like, that was seen as the gold standard. And it's crazy that whey protein isolate is even better than eggs, 1.04. Now that doesn't mean you have to have whey protein or whatever. Personally, I don't really have that often. I think it's fine, if you just eat meats, fish, eggs, and all that kinds of stuff, you're pretty much good to go.
And so if you go into MyFitnessPal, it's gonna count the protein from your Subway sandwich wheat bread, as well as the protein from the tomatoes and the onions in there, as well as the protein from the chicken and the cheese. And you got to be like, how much of this protein actually works to get me a good shot? And for optimal muscle growth and muscle retention, it seems like getting about 75% of your daily protein from high quality sources, 0.9 PDCA or above, 90% or above, is a really good best practice. Any more than that's not really required or has a huge benefit. Any less than that, and you'll marginally pay the cost of not getting as jacked.
Yeah, so Mike pretty much recommends that, 70, 90% or whatever of your protein should come from really high quality sources. But then, like, vegans, obviously, they don't have that many options. They got quinoa, but that's not, how much they're going to eat quinoa every day. So what you have to do as a vegan is you need to get more total protein to ensure you are getting that all those amino acids. So let's say you eat a lot of meats and fish and eggs, you can probably get away with having much less protein. Then you can probably get away with like 0.8 grams per pound. But if you're vegan, then you might want to go up to 1 to 1.2 grams, because the quality of the protein you're getting is not as good. And in order to get all those amino acids and those building blocks, you need more total grams of protein to get all the amino acids that you need. So you can do it as a vegan, it's just harder.
So, what I would tell you is, in most cases, it's a really good idea for you to treat every meal as an opportunity to get that 75 to 25 or better ratio of high quality to low quality proteins, which to me, I can actually distill for you guys into a really super simple practical recommendation. If you're doing full send, real good effort at trying to get jacked and get lean and all that stuff, being the handsome and look like Scott the video guy, then what you want to do is make sure pretty much every single one of your meals, of the 3 to 5 times a day that you eat, roughly evenly spaced, you want to make sure that every single one of those meals pretty much is built around a core of high quality protein.
I totally agree with this, and this is what I personally do anyway. I'll always have a high quality protein source of some kind of fat source and a carb. So that's what I always like to do. You know, nutritionists, peanut butter, not a high quality protein source. So can't wait. So glad I got that off my chest, and I'm so glad Mike agrees with me there. But again, if you're vegan, you can still do it. You just need to get more total grams and have more variety to get those complete proteins. Because let's say one vegetable or whatever is lacking in this amino acid. If you have another vegetable that's has a good amount of that one, but then less than another one, then it will balance out. So you just have to get more total protein. And as a vegan, but I also think it's great, Mike, he describes how you should treat every single meal as an opportunity to get that high quality protein in. And remember, you have 5 opportunities for muscle protein synthesis to occur in a day. So all you guys doing your intermittent fasting bullshit, well, you ain't gonna build as much muscle as if you spread out those meals and have a complete protein in each one of those 5 meals. Now, of course, the law of diminishing returns applies, and 5 meals is marginally better than 3, but it still matters. And I can tell you right now, 5 meals is sure a lot better than 2.
It's just a classic, like almost like kitsch at this point, reused thing of like a super healthy looking young woman with a very excellent skincare routine dipping a perfectly cut green crisp apple slice into an adorable little cup of peanut butter, and then the text is like, peanut butter can boost your protein intake and it's good to have as a snack. How many times have you seen that shit?
Yeah.
Infinity.
Oh God, it was a message from Mike from the heavens. Yes, everyone does that shit. Peanut butter, dog shit source of protein. It's a fat source, it's not a protein source, but that's pretty much Mike's video. Got to agree on a lot of the stuff he says here. He doesn't really talk about what to do if you're a vegan, but again, I just said you just have to get more of a variety and eat more actual protein, which is hard, but there are ways you can do that. Like he said, quinoa, I didn't even know was a high quality protein, so there you go, load up on the friggin' quinoa if you're a vegan. But that's all I got for today, guys. Let me know in the comments, do you do this intermittent fasting shit, or do you actually eat 5 meals a day and have a high quality protein in each one? Let me know. And if you have enjoyed, make sure to smash that like button. I'll have Mike's original video linked in the description. Definitely go check it out. Guys got such high quality information. Freaking love it. So that's all I got for you today, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.